All right, in this video, I'm going to teach you guys step by step on how I did not come from sales and through selling 178,000 in life insurance in the last 3 months. By the way, I started 7 months ago. This is just in the last 3 months at starting comp of 80%. Comp goes all the way up to 145. So you do the math on that. Here are some of the commissions. Here are some sales I did before Christmas. So 3 weeks before Christmas, I sold about 79,000. Ad spend was 5,400. Here's some deposits. These come daily. We get deposits 5 days a week. Here's a day where I sold 9.1K before noon, 18K on the week. I believe that was a Wednesday or a Thursday. Here's my friend Andrew, not just me, but Andrew and everyone else that's having success in the industry. 2 months in the industry for both of us. I sold 13K that day and he sold $16.8 thousand on the day. This is a couple weeks after, I think it was New Year's. I sold 21,000 by Wednesday. So this goes to show, guys, the numbers are there. And in this video, I'm going to give you a complete rundown on how this industry works, how you can make the same kind of income for yourself, and also scale your business, something that you own, something that you can develop into a long-term business. Because all that's out there nowadays is how can I make a quick buck? How can I start a business? And this is something that will actually be around for the long term. We're not selling gimmicks here, okay? So here are my mentors, right? So Ryan Manrique. I got referred to Ryan by the CEO of the company, Family First Life, the largest brokerage in the country. Ryan had to get MVP, and he's been my mentor since the day I started. Him and his fiance Morgan have been a great mentor to me and mentor me daily. I go to them with all kinds of questions. The key to success in this business is to ask as many questions as possible. He mentored me in my personal sales, which allowed a lot of people to reach out to me and want to join my team, because that's the number one way to recruit salespeople is to get results yourself. So I hosted a lock-in last month. We had some really cool people there. Edmund right here in the middle, he's scaled to $1 million a month. Team volume, I believe, is 200K a month in income in just 7 months in the industry. He's absolutely crushing it in the space. He came from Solar. He brought a lot of people over from door-to-door space. They want to get into a more scalable model, right? John Rent, he's 24. His team does 2.5 million a month, so almost double Edmund's. Edmund just started those, so John's been in the space for like 6 years. He transferred from a captive company into the brokerage side, which allows for more freedom, more development of your business, right? He wanted to scale his business quicker. Morgan, I did a podcast with her. She's Ryan's fiance. They both got MVPs last year. Andrew Taylor is right below the CEO. So his team, I believe, is going to do around 600 million in sales this year. He has the largest hierarchy in the entire industry, thousands of people on his team. And he came from a sales background where he literally went to people's houses and tried to sell with the products that we sell. Grady, also right below, not below, but partners with Andrew. And they both create massive businesses. I believe Grady does 40, 50 million a month in sales. Here's him mentoring us at our lock-in. So Morgan, Ryan, John, Edmund, all these people come and mentor my agents, people that are coming in and I'm helping mentor. But we're also getting top people that made tens and tens, sometimes even $100 million in the space, like Andrew, as you can see here. So those are some of the people that are helping my agents. So you might be asking, like, what do we actually do? All right, well, do we sell high ticket? Do we do e-commerce? Do we drop ship? No, we don't. What we do is we call clients that request life insurance. We're not calling friends and family. We're not cold calling people. We're not going to stores trying to recruit people to try and sell to their friends and family. We're calling people that actually request life insurance, and not just whole life insurance to seniors, but we sell products to people that are actively in the workforce, people that are making money and can afford the products. And you might hear about chargebacks or reasons not to get in the industry. We try to eliminate those as much as possible so our agents have success. We do high ticket sales, but it's not what you think, right? So we have leads that come in and request our products. We have a script that you read word for word. We get paid 5 days a week. So what you can do is when you get in the industry, you can check your phone every single morning. You get paid 5 days a week. There's multiple streams of income, which we'll get to more here in a second. This is upfront commissions, back-end commissions in 9 months if the client keeps the policy. This is also renewals, however long the client stays on the books. And you also get different types of bonuses and overrides if you have a team. All right, so you might be thinking, okay, that sounds great. There's multiple streams of income. Why would I get into this now? Why is this such an opportunity right now in 2026? The reason is because we have a small window of time. People are transferring over from the door-to-door industry. People are graduating college, they want to be entrepreneurs, but they don't really know how to start a business. They have to get all these resources together to try to start their own business, create a product, do marketing, do everything themselves to try and scale a business, where the reality is you can just call people with a script and that is your business, right? Because you only have one job in this business, is to sell. Your job is to sell and to teach other people how to sell if you have a team. That's all we do. And I promise you, it's very simple. It is a lot of hard work if you want to make this very, very lucrative for yourself. What you should expect if you're putting in full-time hours is 10 to 40,000 in monthly income for in-personal sales. And if you have a team and you have an agency that you own, you can expect to make between 75,000 to 500,000 plus per month. Some people making upwards of $1 million per month in their 20s. My friend, I know people, I'm not going to mention their names, but they make between 500,000 and $1 million, sometimes $2 million per month in this industry. And that's profit. That's not revenue. This isn't some business with tons and tons of expenses. This is actually money that comes from companies that have been around for 100 plus years. And all they're really paying for is an office. And then that doesn't even cost a fraction of their income, right? So the margins are very profitable. You're not spending all of your money on back into the business as you would in something else. Why life insurance brokerage? We're not with a life insurance company that sells friends and family. We're not with a captive company where you don't own your book of business. What we are is we're a brokerage. So we work with all the different carriers, which we'll get to here in a second. We sell a need-based product. People need life insurance and people seek out life insurance. So we're salespeople. A lot of salespeople try and sell a product, right? People reach out to us for life insurance. They already know what life insurance is, and we're essentially order takers for them and kind of the middleman between them needing life insurance and them actually getting life insurance. So they already know what it is when they reach out, right? It's one of the biggest industries on planet Earth. It's a very old business, right? It's been around for hundreds of years. People have gotten claims on the Titanic, right? A couple hundred years ago. You have ownership over your book of business. This is tied to carriers that have been around for 100 plus years, and your name is attached to them. It's not attached to our business. It's all yours. You also have control over your lead flow, which a lot of people take for granted. You're not having your manager, you're not having anyone take control over your leads. The amount of leads that you invest in is the amount of leads that you get, and you can get as many leads as the amount of hours that you're willing to work. All right, so we're not just a recruiting agency. We're focused on sales first, and the sales drive the recruiting. If someone sells a lot of business, they can expect to become a manager because they get promoted to higher comps. They get a spread on their team, and then people want to join their agency. They make a couple posts on social media. Their friends will reach out and wanting to join their team because they're like, how do you make 20, 30 grand a month just selling with a script? And because they're working their jobs that they hate, right? Most people hate their jobs and they want to be in something with higher upside. People get in this industry because of the higher upside. They don't get in this industry for freedom. Some people get in it for freedom and then they go work 4 or 5 hours a day and then they don't expect to really succeed. The people that win in this industry are the people that can work 12, 14 hours a day for a year, 2 years, 5 years for them to scale their business and scale quickly. All right. Another thing is to scale anywhere. This is something that really hits me because I was in real estate for 3 years and I had to be in Phoenix to do real estate. I couldn't be in Florida. I couldn't be in California. I couldn't be in New York. I had to be in Phoenix to do real estate. In life insurance, we get leads and we call these leads virtually. All right. So I'm in an office right here. I'm in our headquarters here in Scottsdale. Sometimes I'm in Florida. I did a podcast in Vegas. Sometimes we go back to Illinois, Texas, whatever. We can scale our business anywhere. And that's why we have multiple offices, right? So it's not just something where you're locked into one place. We can get licensed in any state. If you get licensed in a state, you can just buy other ones. You don't even have to take their test, right? Here are some comparison to different industries, right? People will be like, okay, why would I get in life insurance brokerage specifically, okay? You have to see the opportunity. High ticket sales. This is where you're going to sell for an influencer and they're selling a course or they're selling a done for you program, whatever it is, something for like B2B, business to business. High ticket sales is where you're selling a product for an influencer, right? So the reason I didn't do this or why you shouldn't do this is because that influencers' views can fluctuate, which means their leads can fluctuate, which means the amount of sales that you make also fluctuates. So if you want to build a long-term career, you have to be in a long-term business, right? So real estate, this one hits home for me because I was in it, like I said, for 3 years. Real estate can fluctuate depending on what you're in. If you're in brokerage, if you're in like selling homes, The reason why I got out of it is because it took so long to get paid in real estate. It would, on average, in commercial, which was what I was in, it took 9 months for a rep to get paid. In residential, it can take 1, 3, 4, or 5 months to sell a home, and you're waiting to get paid on that. When I sell a deal in life insurance, I get paid in 24 to 48 hours, which is where I can make daily sales and daily income where it's more consistent. All right, e-com, high expenses. You're taking a risk with product. You're taking a lot of upfront capital risk in especially advertising and developing the product. Service businesses. This is where it's kind of like sales, right? You're in a sales position. You're trying to sell a service business. I had a friend who did car detailing. He did another friend that did windows. Whatever you're doing in terms of service businesses, when you sell a client, that's when the work begins. A lot of people don't realize that when you sell a client in life insurance, they have their life insurance. There's no need to follow up excessively. You should follow up here and there to see how they're doing in terms of what they need with their policy. Other than that, you don't have to complete some big job for people in life insurance as in other businesses, right? Door to door, self-explanatory, no leads. You're talking to strangers. You're getting doors slammed in your face. It's cold, it's hot, whatever. It's not scalable if you want to be in multiple different states as well, which I want to travel and work my butt off all the time. And I wouldn't want to be in this industry. It's up to you. If you like knocking doors with strangers, so be it. This isn't for you if you want to scale a business, right? Online business. So there's a lot of different online businesses, drop shipping, starting a school community, whatever it is. This is something where you have to be all parts of the business, right? You have to be marketing, you have to be fulfillment, you have to be everything in the business. Whereas with life insurance brokerage, you have to sell the product. That is the entire business, is selling the product, getting really good at selling one product to working class people that actually need it. And that if you want to build a big organization, you teach other people how to do the same thing, right? You want to see the long-term vision when you get in an industry. I got in this industry because I want to scale a big business. I had to realize that in order to build a business, I had to sell a lot of insurance and be really, really good on the phones before people would want to join and be mentored by me in terms of selling. I didn't start recruiting right away. I started recruiting after I was submitting 25,000 in deals, getting paid 10, 15 grand a week. Right. So that's when I started building a team because people actually wanted to join my team. It wasn't forceful at all. Right. Here is what the big vision is. Right. Here's the reason why people get in the industry. A lot of people glance over this. They don't look at the chart. This is how people build, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in income and profit. Right. So we start at 80% contract. So let me pull up my phone here. Here's a calculator. Usually the average deal size, like my average deal size, is $2,400. All right, so you look at 2,400 times 0.8. That's the starting comp. That's almost $2,000 in commissions, about $1,900. If you times that by 0.75, that's the upfront advance. This isn't including the back end commission in 9 months. This isn't including the renewals. This will be the upfront commission on average for deals that I submit. Right, so 1,400 average commission size. That's the starting contract. The contracts go up to 145. All right. So you see all these numbers right here. You look at the left, you look at the right. This is personal production on the left. This is team production on the right. Okay. So you need 2 months consecutive to move up 5%. So in a normal job, say you're working a salary position, you're going up, 10% every year or 20% every year. If that's generous, right? Every 2 months, we get to move up 5% in our commission percentage, right? So people ask, oh, do you guys offer a base salary? Do you guys offer like all these benefits? The benefits that we offer is that you can scale a business very quickly, right? So you move up 5% every 2 months and you have to hit these metrics. So for perspective, I hit 10,000 my second month in business, all right? My third month in business, I hit 40,000. You can see up here, but you can only move up 5% every 2 months. I shouldn't say only, all right? That's very quick to move up 2 months. You see these numbers on the right. If you build a team, you get 3 people doing 10K a month. That'll be 30,000 in team volume. That'll also move you up 5%. So it's either or. You don't have to hit both of these. So you can get all the way up to 120 just on your personal production. Don't have to build a team. I chose to build a team because I want to scale a massive business, right? Which most people do when they get into industry. So say you get up to a 120 comp, right? You're earning more on your personal deals and you're also earning more off your team. Right. So you get front end commissions, you get back end commissions, and you get your renewals on your entire team. So say you start people off at 80, they're 4 months in the business and they're actually producing at a high level at 90%. That's a 30% spread on their sales. So say they're selling 20 grand a month, and that's pretty average in our space for people that are full-time. 20 grand a month, you do the math, after chargebacks, that's around 5,000 to 6,000 in your personal pocket if you get one person on your team selling 20 grand a month, and they're at a 90% comp. Not to mind you, the comp goes up to 145. These are team builder comps, right? If you build a team doing 250,000 a month, you get a 125. If you do $1 million a month, you get to a 145, which is very doable. That's 50 people doing 20,000 issue paid business per month. That would likely be, say you hire, 150 people, a third of them quit. 50 of them are actually full-time in the business. They're writing 20K a month, which means they're probably profiting like 8 after lead expense and all that. That would be $1 million a month for you. That would be a 145. So say you're at a 145, you can bring in people at 80 and earn a 65% spread on their production. This is how my mentors make several hundred thousand, almost $500,000 per month, right? So this is how people aren't, above them earn $1 million, so 1.5 million a month in profits in actual take-home volume. Because not only are they bringing in people at 80, they're also hiring sales trainers to, develop them so they don't have to be boots on the ground. They're very involved in the business, but they're not helping them like click all the buttons on the application, right? They can also bring in teams at 100 or 110 or 120. Say they have like a big solar, big solar team they want to get in, or a big pest control team of 30 people. They can put the sales manager at 110. Their guys would be at 80 or 90 or whatever the guy wants to put them at. And they would earn a 30% spread immediately on an entire team of 30 people. So that's how people scale to a lot of money in income, right? So that's how the comp works. That's how you can earn hundreds of thousands of dollars in overrides, not including your personal sales, which you should be personally selling if you want to build a team, right? All right, so here's how the leads work. People are like, okay, I've heard all these leads. Some companies offer free leads, some companies make you pay for leads, right? So our comp is very high. So what that means is it rewards the top producers heavily, okay? We do not offer free leads. If you're getting offered from free leads from someone, they're likely the worst leads you've ever called in your entire life. You might as well open up the yellow pages and call them, right? So how leads work. We have different types of leads. We start people out on age leads. These are people that have inquired about insurance like 3 to 6 months ago. They're older, and you're kind of following up with people, making sure that they actually get their coverage in place. We also have fresh leads. So once you get a lot of training in on the age, that's when you can move into fresh leads and making sure you're making a lot of sales. You're going to be spending more on fresh, but you're also going to be probably going to be making 15, 20, 30 grand a month on fresh leads if you're reinvesting into your business. A lot of people ask, how much should I invest in the leads? It totally depends on you and your situation and how good that you are on the phones. And that's something that should consult your upline with or me with if you're coming into the business. We'll make that completely up to you, right? Average we see is around 700 to 2,000 a month or a week, depending on the amount that you're looking to, produce. If you're really good on the phones, like I was spending, 2-3 grand a week, but producing 25 grand a week, right? So you get a high margin. It's not even like you're spending money because you're getting paid next day on most deals, right? Types of insurance we sell. We sell final expense. When you first start, you should sell final expense because it's the easiest to sell. But when you get experienced on the phones, this is where you get a lot of chargebacks on final expense. It's the easiest to sell, but you get a lot of chargebacks. So that's why we move people up and do IULs or mortgage protection or inbound, right? Because we want to get people on higher intent leads, people that can afford the product, to make sure they get, number one, higher premiums, and number two, that their clients stay on the books, not only for reducing chargebacks, but getting that back in commission and getting the renewals, making sure our agents are as profitable as possible so that they can build a long-term business. Roadmap is aged leads for practice. They're cheaper. You can get a lot of them. Fresh and a VA, like a virtual assistant for top producers. This is can be a VA for people that, produce a lot, and they hire a VA to dial the leads for them, set up appointments and things like that. That's what the top people do. So here's the math. All right. This is what you should expect monthly if you're full-time in the business. If you're in your first couple months, you should expect 15 to 20 grand issue paid. If you're third month in the business, you obviously learned the business by now. You should treat your first 90 days as a learning period to make sure you get really good. So say it's like your third month in the business, your 30 grand issue paid, compensation starting at 80%, you get a 9-month advance, which means, say a client pays $100 a month, that's $1,200 for the year. 900 of that would be upfront. Okay, so $900 advance, but your comp would be 80%. This isn't confusing. This is very simple, I promise you. So the total compensation, 30,000 times 80 would be 24,000 in total commissions. Okay, you would get 18,000 up front, and that's the 75% up front. You get the 6,000 scheduled for 9 months. That's 25,000 earned after 9 months. Say your lead spend is between 4,000 to 6,000 for that month. That would mean if you have 85% persistency on these policies, you would profit between $10,000 and $15,000 in that month. Okay, top producers spend a lot more on leads, and they're better on the phones. So double the numbers, double the lead spend. I would be between 50 to 80,000 in issue pay production. That's while scaling a team and while earning overrides off the team. Okay, I could produce 100 grand a month, but I choose to get a little bit less on my personal issue paid so I can train other people how to do the same skill set. Okay, so for an agency, people are like, okay, how do you build an agency? What are the numbers I can expect off an agency? So say you recruit 20 people writing 20K a month. They're all full-time. They're all invested in the business. Okay, that would be 400,000 in team volume. Okay, if you get a 20% spread on that, like I said, if you come back to the chart, you can earn a lot more than 20% spread. Okay, if you're at a 120, you get people 4 months in the business, that's a 90%. If you're at a 145, eventually it can be more. So say you're just at a 20% spread, that's conservative. Okay, that's $80,000 gross monthly income. This is on a spread of 20 people. This is consistent cash flow 5 days a week. Okay, you say you get 15% chargebacks across the book of business, you're getting a 65,000 in net profit because your agents are paying for leads, you're not paying for their leads, and you don't have really any expenses besides your own leads, right? That's why our agency owners are very profitable. Okay, so that's how you can earn almost $100,000 a month if you're an agency owner, 50 to 100. So most people want to build a business. In this model, there is no need to be creative. Copy word for word the top producers and recruit and train like the top managers. So this is something that I wrote down because most people, they got out of college or they're in school, they really want to build a business. Most people don't realize that they can create a very simple business if they just learn one particular skill set and go all in on that skill set, and then teaching other people that same skill set as well. So like I said, there's no need to be creative in this. Copy word for word. So people ask me, what is your best advice, Weston, on someone that's getting in the industry? My best advice is literally sitting next to and listening to a top producer word for word on his script. We have scripts that you can read. Make sure your tonality is good. Make sure your objection handling is good. We have the objection handling script as well. The key is to get with the top producer, learn from him, and then also get with top managers. So like Ryan and Morgan, myself, I'm getting there, right? Hayden, Nina, they did over 20 million in sales last month. People doing several $1 million a month in sales on their team. So if you eventually want to build a several $100,000 per month income, you have to be around these people. Okay. Let's say this interests you. Okay. What should I expect? You're asking. So what you should expect is live training. You should get in the small group training with other agents. Other people are going to be asking questions. We have community on Discord where you can meet a lot of people, right, that are also making a lot of money. You can scroll through the sales chat Discord, see how many people are making sales on a daily basis. Thousands and thousands of dollars every single day are getting deposited into our agents' pockets every single day. You should expect one-on-ones, not only from our upline or your upline, but you should expect one-on-ones from your dedicated sales trainer that trains you how to read the script, your tonality, your confidence, everything that you should know before you actually jump on the phones. And while you're jumping on the phones, you should also be doing the call recordings. So the key in this business is to take action, not just be in trainings all day, but to actually get on the phones and have people listen to you. That's where you get set up on a dialer where it goes over call recordings. Okay, so you can save these files and send it to your sales trainer, send it to your upline. Make sure you learn every single day what you can do differently with your script, and make sure that you can get 1% better so that you can write $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 per month just yourself, right? You should expect the proven scripts and objection handling, just like I mentioned before. You should also expect different lead systems depending on your budget. We have age leads, we have fresh leads, we have different types of leads. You should, dial in on one lead type, and you can speak to your upline about what you should start out with. Okay, you might be asking, what if I have a team? Maybe you're a solar manager, pest control manager. If you have a real estate company, if you have a mortgage company, say you're watching this video, you're like, hey, my business is fluctuating a lot. I have a lot of expenses. I want something more scalable, something more long-term that has been around for a long time. Okay, so what we can do is we can negotiate something where you can get a slightly higher comp for bringing a team and making sure that your reps are being trained by someone top tier in the industry that's already here. Okay, so you can reach out to me directly. My number is going to be in the description if you have a team, if you want to bring them over. Okay, maybe you say, I want to do it. All right, so here's the steps. If you want to get started, if you have a team, if you just want to join yourself, it doesn't matter. What you're going to do is you're going to get with your upline, you're going to send them your full name, your email, and your street address. And what that's going to do is you're going to get free study materials from us. This saves you a couple $100 because most companies actually charge for the study materials. We have a partnership where you can get them for free. Okay, so this is going to be through Excel Solutions. This is going to be something completely for free. You need to complete this in 10 days. I cannot stress this enough. If you're pushing this out a month, 2 months, you're taking your time, taking the test. This is something that I don't want to work with someone that's not willing to take their test in a relatively short period of time, because my time is valuable and I want it to be spent with action takers. And I want it to be fully dedicated, that are people that are investing in the leads, people that are investing their time, people that are learning on their own. And that's who I'm going to put a lot of time into, because if you don't take your test in the span of a month, I don't really, care to work with you at all. You're going to receive the onboarding instructions after you take the test. This gives you access to the top carriers in the country. We work with 20 plus A-rated carriers like Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, companies that have been around for over 100 years, and we sell their products. People already understand and know the companies that we're selling because we're licensed brokers, okay? First, 90-day agent training. So this is something that most agencies don't have. This is something where you get an agent, and this is key if you have a team as well. If you bring in 10, 20, 30 guys, you can plug them into the first 90-day agent training. You don't even have to train your agents, okay? So our sales trainer has been in the industry for a long time. He is really, really good at building up top tier salespeople and making sure, you can do small group training, you can do one-on-ones, etc. So that's self-explanatory. Daily training, and you can also schedule one-on-ones with the sales trainer, okay? This is your dedicated sales trainer. What you should expect as far as completing the applications, you might have to ask, like, how do you actually sell a policy? This is through our Integrity Connect platform. This is to see what the client actually qualifies for. If the client is giving an objection, like, hey, I'm just going to shop around life insurance, see what's out there, they're going to be like, okay, so basically what my job is as a life insurance broker is I shop around for you and make sure we get the best quality of life insurance product and best price for you based on your age and health, okay? So I can literally show the client my screen. I can FaceTime them and show them my screen and scroll through all the different carriers that, that you just overcome the objection very easily, okay? So you can go put in their health here, put in what state they're from, height, weight, date of birth, male, tobacco use, prescriptions, health conditions. You put in all their details, and this makes sure that they get the best product for them, okay? So you can look through here. This is the case where you can scroll through all the carriers, make sure they know what they're getting. We'll teach this all. You don't need to go into the nitty-gritty here. This is where our carrier portal links and phone numbers where you can manage all of your policies, okay? Everything's very organized here. We're not spraying and praying, okay? Here's all the training. We have different types of leads, different types of products that people get. As you can see, there's ethos, IUL, mortgage protection, veteran leads. Sometimes you sell to veterans, sometimes you sell to contractors, truckers, healthcare workers, whatever niche that we can find where people are making consistent income to where we can get higher average premiums and higher persistency. We have different resources. We have training banks from people that have been selling 100 grand a month. Like Trey last year, he sold 1.1 million in IULs, which he runs IUL trainings. I sell IULs as well. We have the scripts. We have recorded calls from top producers that you can listen to as well. All right, a lot of people ask, why now? Why should I get in this industry right now? Is because there is a gold rush happening, okay? The reason why there's a gold rush happening is, like I said, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, but no one knows what to do. They want to be in a stable industry, but at the same time, they don't want to be in a salary position. They want to build a business. which if you can become a top producer in the space, what that means is that if you post on social media, you'll build a massive organization in the insurance space, okay? People ask, like, what are your goals, right? A lot of times I ask agents, what are your goals when you come in the industry? And you have to really meet people where they're at, because when I came in this industry, I had big goals. But some people, they just want to make a living, right? I realize that's not everyone. So whatever your goals are, you have to match that with the schedule, okay? Average reps are 8 to 10 hours a day. What I want on my team is top producers and agency owners. That's 12 to 15 hours a day. People that are fully dedicated to the business, especially in their first 90 days when they're learning, and they want to make sure that they're going to be the most successful agency owners in the industry, and going to be around the people that are getting hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in results in their actual bank account, not team building, right? For big time results in your first 90 days, in your first 6 months, you want to do 12 hours a day of dialing with your upline right there, with your camera on in Discord, unmuted, so that your sales trainer or your upline can listen to your calls. We get 2 or 3 hours of training, learning, and also your upline or your sales trainer listening back to your calls. So you're not just dialing and spinning your wheels, you're actually learning daily, okay? This costs no money, right? People ask, oh, is there a cost to join? No, you pay for your license. All right, more dialing equals more leads equals more sales and more presentations. The more presentations you get on, the more practice you get, and that'll compound your skill set a lot quicker. All right, remember, in this business, you own your business. We provide the resources. This is not something where you're working for someone. This is something that you own, and we want to hire entrepreneurs, okay? We will not train agents that don't show up to the Discord with their cameras on. If you're not online, this might sound silly, but it happens to most people. Most people don't even log on Discord. Most people don't take this seriously, because that's why I have to make these videos and cast the vision on people to see actually how good this industry is, and people don't even realize it, right? I have to explain why ownership is important, why equity is important, why renewals and the spread on your team and overrides. And this is how you make hundreds of thousands in income, right? I'm going to be continuing to make videos like this so that you guys can have the resources and training to build a big agency, right? All right, if you're not showing up, you're not going to get trained, okay? We're not going to chase you down. A lot of people have facts, and a lot of people have questions about this industry. All right, this is going to be a deep dive. This is something where people have questions, and this is going to answer all of them for you. So a lot of people ask, okay, life insurance has chargebacks, and how do they work? Okay, so if someone cancels a policy, say they cancel a policy after a month, you owe the full commission back, the upfront commission. They don't take it directly out of your bank account. They take it out of your insurance portal, which means you just write another policy and it cancels out. Or you can get the policy back on the books by calling the client back. Like I said, our agency has between 80, 85, 90% persistency, depending on the agent, how quality their book of business is, okay? How much should I start spending on leads? You should start with 500 a week. All right, if you're not spending 500 a week, you should be working in other jobs, saving up, or you can sell a policy to your friends and family, earn $1,000, $2,000, and reinvest that into leads. I highly recommend selling an IUL or an annuity to someone that you know. That way you can get $1,000 or $2,000 that you can reinvest into leads. Or if you get an annuity, you can earn between $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for that annuity. You'll have leads for months, okay? You're licensed to print money, okay? If you're not licensed, you can't do this. If you're licensed, you should use that license for good purposes. Think about it. If you're in real estate, you don't get leads for houses, right? You have to go find your leads. So same thing with insurance. If you have no money, then you can go find your leads, okay? You might ask, how much will I profit my first month? The answer is completely up to you. How much you're investing in leads, how much work you're putting in, how much training you're putting in, what's your current skill set, and how fast you're learning. It really depends. For myself, I broke even my first month because I was reinvesting a lot of my money into new states, into leads, into higher quality leads. And I was just reinvesting because I want to scale this thing quick. Some people I've seen profit 10, 20, 30 grand the first month. That wasn't me. That wasn't the case. Just being honest. Okay. So for you, I would say good profit your first month will be around 5 grand. All right. Do you need an LLC? Yes, for tax purposes, that would be great. You can do it personally as well. Also, why Family First Life? Family First Life is the largest insurance brokerage in the country. Why would you not go with the largest? Because we have access to the top training, top resources, You just have to make sure you get with a good upline and good sales trainer, because that's going to be key, is the leads and the training. Okay. Should I generate my own leads? The answer is yes and no. If you have a great lead source that you find, you can keep that. We have our lead sources that you can use. We have in-house leads that are key. We don't force people to use them. That's why this is your own business. But we actually provide leads to our agents that you can either buy or get set up on an ad with, okay? The ad campaign is exclusive leads to you. They're not shared, and you get them in real time. You get a text on your phone when they come in, all right? So you might ask, like, hey, am I closing these deals on Zoom or phone calls? The answer is usually phone calls. Some people do Zoom if they want to be like face-to-face with the client, if they feel comfortable. But most people are one call closing these leads, making sure, it's a 30, 35-minute sale over the phone. This is outbound dials, right? You might ask, like, should I stay a producer or build a team? The answer is you should do both. The answer is you should build a team, once you start making money, or if your upline wants you to bring people in, if they give you permission to, like, hey, I'm going to train your people to become top producers. Like, I wanted to build a team from square one, right? But I knew that to build a team, I had to produce at a high level that would attract people to my team, right? Why do most agents quit? The reason why most agents quit is because they don't see the vision, and they don't come from people that are top in the industry. They just get cold recruited, and they don't know about the space. They don't know about the long-term nature of it. Therefore, they quit. When they get a little bit of struggle, they go work their salary job. They don't see the vision, right? They might, be really, really bad on the phones. They might, there's a lot of different excuses that people make, and then life gets in the way for a lot of people, and that can be an excuse. But, I moved across the country, basically dropped out of school for this, because I saw the opportunity and the short time window that's happening right now in this industry. Okay. You might say, hey, my friend tried this and it didn't work. The reason why I don't even want to take people that say, I'm going to try this opportunity, I'm going to try selling life insurance, because at that point, it's not even worth my time. I need to get people on my team that are fully committed to the industry. They're like, this is what I want to do for the next 5 years. Okay. This is a long-term industry where you need to make it not a career out of it, but a long-term like business out of it. I want to build an empire in this industry, right? This is not a business where you're going to build an empire just by trying it, because trying it for the first month, you might break even your first month, and it sucks. You might go through a period of time where you might get a lot of chargebacks, and you might not get deposits during that time, right? But you just have to see the long-term vision of it, because most of the time you're going to be making a lot of money, right? What is the timeline for first sale? Most of our agents get their first sale in their first 1 or 2 days. Can you do part-time? The answer is it really doesn't work. You have to be fully committed to this. Part-time, you should be learning the industry, and then you should be willing to transition into full-time. What you should look for in an agency, okay? If you're joining an agency inside of our hierarchy, you need to be looking for lead systems, training structure, carrier access, black and white ladder for commissions, a commission percentage, and the culture. The culture has to be key in any business you're joining. If you're joining our hierarchy, we're going to have the leads, the training, the carrier access, everything, as well as black and white ladder for commissions. Some people just move their friends up and they keep the other people down, and it gets to be a mess. If everything's not black and white like the chart I showed you before, everything's going to get screwed up. All right, how quickly can you get paid? The answer is usually 24 to 48 hours after you close a deal, unless you schedule out the payment. 90% of my deals are paid in the next day, right? Why do people offer free leads? Because their leads are trash and they put people at lower comp. Like I said, our starting comp is 80%. Most agencies that are offering free leads are like 30 to 50 to 60% for free leads. And the leads are very, very old, right? They might be like 2 years old. They are barely even picking up the phone. And when they do pick up the phone, you're just spinning your wheels on those, right? All right. Why is having access to multiple carriers important? Because like I said, we do the shopping around for people. If they're like, hey, I'm going to go talk to my other guy, we can always beat their rate. The reason why we can always beat the rate is because we have access to the top carriers. Like, for example, State Farm spends a lot of their money in advertising. Therefore, their premiums for the clients are higher. Therefore, we can offer the clients more affordable rates and still an A+ rated carrier on the Better Business Bureau. They're very reputable and they've been around forever. All right. People might ask, how do people make between 500,000 and $1 million a month just in 3 years of being in the business? Like, a couple of my friends are doing this, right? They are building massive teams because they started personally producing at a high level and they did social media at a high level to bring top sales reps and teams in at 20, 30 reps each. And then they develop high quality salespeople at 80% starting. They get a 65% spread on their sales. And that's where if you get 100, 200, 400 reps, that'll be, compounded into multiple offices. And therefore you make, between 500,000 and $1 million a month. That's very hard to do. It is very doable though. There's a lot of people doing it in this space. That if you have big goals and dreams, like this is what I want to do. I'm 7 months in the industry, guys, like 7 months. And I have a team of 15 active people. We're going to have 25 people at the end of next month, or we should have between 150 to 200 people by the end of this year. That'll be a year and a half in the business, right? So my goal is to make between 500,000 to $1 million a month just in the next couple of years, right? There's a learning period in the industry. People ask like, how long does it take to make money in the space? The answer is you read a script, and the answer is like, you just get as good as you can at this one skill set. Therefore, you can invest more into leads, and therefore you can make more sales, right? You might see this space on social media, and there's a lot of exaggeration out there, people making all this money. But the reality is like people are selling low quality business. People are getting free leads and they're dialing all day. They might be sitting by the pool, but the reality is they've been inside all day, spinning their wheels on final expense leads and not selling high quality business. There's a lot of exaggeration on social media, and that's why you should get with a quality agency that helps you build your business properly, okay? You might ask, will this life insurance industry ever get saturated? The answer is no, because everyone needs life insurance, and there's 300 million people in America, whatever the number is, and they're all going to need life insurance at some point, and therefore there's going to be unlimited leads to call. There's a lot of people getting in the space, but a lot of people are not making sales. They're not really working, right? So that means if you do work, then you can soak up all the leads and you can master the skill set and make tons of sales, right? How do the insurance companies make money if they're giving 145% comp? I've been asked this question multiple times. The answer is because they bank on clients sticking around for 3 to 5 years and then making money, or even longer. Clients keep their policy for longer. Say 145%, that's like not even a year and a half of a policy on the books. The insurance company might keep it for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years of the client paying their premiums. Therefore, they can afford to advance you 145%. All right. You might be in this industry having big dreams. Like, I want to exit my business at some point. I want to build a massive empire and exit to private equity. Okay. The answer is yes. You own your business and you can sell it to private equity. The multiples can range depending on the quality of business and the size, between 6 to 10x on the net profit. So say, like, do the math, say you're making $4 million a year in profit. My mentor is going to make $5 million this year. That's just the guy that's mentoring me. That if he gets 8x on his business, that's a $40 million. Actually, he's meeting with a group right now. They're looking to try and look and see how they can exit their business for between 50 to 100 million in the space. And they're 4 years in the business, right? So say you scale your business, it's $40 million that your business is worth, right? Okay, so do I have to know about all of the products before I get into this? The answer is no. The answer is you need to just hop in and get on the phones, because the quicker you get on the phones, the quicker you get paid, and that increases your belief in the business, and you just keep making sales and you learn as you go. The goal is for our reps to jump in and not learn all about it right off the bat. The goal is to just make them money, right? That's why everyone gets in this. Why is life insurance easier to sell than other products, you might ask? We are order takers, right? We're the middlemen between what they actually request and what they need. Most people know what people know what life insurance is. They pass away, they want to leave something to their kids. Okay. We need to find their why in the sale. Like, why do you want to leave this money? How much money do you want to leave behind? Figure out a good monthly payment. And there you go. We have a script for it. You don't need a network, right? Because in real estate, which I realized in commercial real estate, is you had to develop a network of professionals in order to sell these big properties. So that might take years of networking at events, at whatever, country clubs, like whoever you're trying to meet. We are people that are calling leads. So you can be someone in the middle of like nowhere calling leads and making 50 to 100 grand a month. Okay. Just on your personal sales. People already know what it does. Life insurance pays out to their family, right? People ask, what are the top methods of recruiting? The top by far is social media and posting your results of your personal sales. If you can sell a lot of insurance yourself, then people believe that you could teach them how to do the same thing. Just post on social media, your results and other people's results, and that will get you very far in building your agency. Why too much training can be bad, okay? People are so over analytical when they get in this industry where they don't realize where they can just hit the phones and make money rather than trying to learn every single product, every single script, and meet as many people as possible, where the reality is they should just be getting paid. Okay, so you should listen to your upline and just hit the phones. Okay, how do you get agents to stay on your team long term? Okay, you need to get them paid. Number one, you need to get them paid. They should not be over analytical. They should just be getting on the phones. Also, you need to partner with the right agency and company with a great culture, with all the resources, and make sure you can get them their first few sales as quickly as possible. So they're not looking at any other opportunities where, when they see this, they can see a 30-minute call turning into $500 to $1,000 just when you start, right? You might ask, what if I have a warm market that has money to invest? You might have some wealthy clients from, like, say you're from like some wealthy family, you're a country club, right? You're traveling the world, you meet some rich people, okay? You might sell IULs or annuities that are properly structured, which means this can make you thousands of dollars because you structure people's money properly. And like annuities, the market is protected. Their money can't go down. It can only go up with the stock market. The annuities are structured to keep the client's net worth conservatively growing, not something, to skyrocket like crypto, but something that just keeps their money steadily growing. Okay. You can set them up with annuities, which you're licensed to do with us. All right. Those are all the common questions that people ask. I know that's a lot. All right. Another thing I want to mention is the team overrides over time. People are like, okay, well, I might be at 90%, but my team members are at 80%. I'm only making 10% of my team overrides. Okay. What I want to mention is that every single wave of people that you bring in the business is going to be a higher spread, because when you start, you might bring in 5 people and you might only be making 10% of their sales. But in a few months, you might be at a 110. You'll be making 30% of their sales. You might be here a year and a half. You might be at 130%. You start to make 50% of your new people's sales, right? It just keeps going up and up and up. So every group and batch of people that you bring in, your spread just keeps getting higher, and then their teams can grow as well if they're good, right? So that's another thing. Captive versus brokerage. Captive is like you're only selling State Farm's product, or you're only selling like Nationwide or Globe Life's products. These are companies that you're tied to selling one carrier. We have access to all the different carriers. So this means you can get the client the best deal. This means you're doing what's in the best interest of the client. You have higher comp in brokerage. You have lead control in brokerage. You're not asking people for leads. They don't control your leads. They don't control the quality of your leads. People underestimate this so much, how important leads are and why we actually pay for their leads, but we actually make way more money in brokerage. Okay. In brokerage, you get a quicker spread on your team, and you're not forced to recruit in brokerage. People might not want to have a massive team, and that's okay. You can be a high paid sales rep. Trey Howe in our group sold 1.1 million in life insurance last year. He had a small team, right? But he wasn't spending all day training and developing people, right? So he just wanted to sell a lot personally, and that drove a lot of people to his team. That's why he's growing so quick this year, is because he sold 1.1 million, profited almost $1 million personally in just his personal sales. And that's like his year and a half in the business, right? Product progression. A lot of people scale from final expense, which charges back more. They want to get on IULs and higher ticket products ASAP. That's the product progression. Scaling personal production. You want to set up from when you start, you're going to be setting up on a lead sheet, like a dialer. You're going to be dialing all day, right? But you're eventually going to want to get a CRM. You're going to get AI follow-up on fresh leads. You're going to get VAs that they can be used for, like dialing and following up with clients. That should be your first investment, not only into leads, but also a VA that can be used to manage your book of business, making sure you're spending your time on money producing activities. We have lead vendors and ad campaigns. If you only have a couple states, you should be using a lead vendor. If you want to be like a top producer right away, you can get on an ad campaign and you can spend like $1,000, $2,000 a week, $3,000 a week on leads, and making sure that you're getting high quality leads, but you'll also be making a ton of sales on the ad campaign, right? That's everyone's goal should be get on an ad campaign as soon as possible. I got on one of these 2 months in the business. Okay. That's what really helped me scale my personal production to 70,000 a month, 80,000 a month, right? KPI tracker. This is key because your upline and sales trainer is not going to know what to do if they cannot see your stats. If they're just going off your word, they're not going to know. If you're tracking the amount of dials you're making, the amount of hours you're working, the amount of leads that you purchase, the amount of presentations that you get, the amount of numbers that you're presenting clients to, the amount of pickups that you get. By the way, this is all what the dialer does for you. You should be tracking and getting a dialer. You should be tracking your sales as well. Track all your numbers and your upline will know exactly what to do. This takes a few extra minutes per day. I promise you it's worth it because you'll get better quicker. All right. We also sell annuities. Like I said, this helps people with retirement. The comp is starting 5.75%. If you sell an annuity, say your uncle has a dormant 401k that they're not using and they want to keep it safe. Say he rolls over $100,000 from his 401k into an annuity at 5.75%. That's almost $6,000 in your pocket, right? $5,700 in your pocket. You have to find the sale. This is something where you're not going to buy annuity leads and just call them and then sell them an annuity. This is something where you have to network a little bit to find. That's why they pay so much. You also can find them if you're selling IULs, and you can upsell them an annuity. You sell them a lower ticket product, and then you build that relationship with them, and then you can sell them a higher ticket annuity. Okay. People ask, can I recruit and build a team right away? Why it usually doesn't work and why it can work with us. Okay. Most agencies, people try to bring people in and everyone's like wondering what to do, right? The reason why it works with us is because we have a paid sales trainer on salary, literally. He helps train your agents. You have an upline that can also train your agents. We have training like recorded calls and word for word scripts that your agents can use. They have no excuses for lack of training with us. We have Discord rooms where top producers are in each room. We have people that are in live calls and they say, oh, I'm presenting in room 6. And your agents can go in room 6 and they can listen to a live call from someone that's making $50,000 a month just in personal sales. We have a culture that's willing to help. If your upline is on a call and the sales trainer isn't available right now, you can go to pretty much anyone in the agency. If they kind of push you off, they're a douche, you should go talk with someone else that's willing to help you. You will get help from people that won't make money off you. You'll realize that in our culture, if you go to anyone in the agency, they are willing to help you, even if they're not making overrides on your production, which is hilarious. Okay. If you have a team, you can incentivize people with leads for them. All right. If they bring in, say you have a base shop of like 5 people. If you have a new agent that doesn't have much money for leads, you can say, hey, bring me a couple of your friends that want to be entrepreneurial, people that want to get into sales, and you compensate them with $400 or $500 in leads that they can produce. Okay. And then you'll train their agents. Right? So more production and you can scale quick this way. If you pour money back into the business, you will scale quicker. Free leads for agents don't work. If you give people all the free stuff in the world, it's not going to work because you want your agents to have skin in the game. I remember when my upline, he paid for my first lead batch, right? And I made like 1 sale after a week of those. It wasn't good, right? But when I bought my first lead pack, it was like boom, 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 sale, sale, sale. And because I was more attached to the lead pack because I actually paid for it, right? I made more money paying for leads because I was more attached to them. So you want your agents to think like business owners, not like employees. People might ask, okay, I love the business opportunity. I want to get involved. Like, what does it look like physically, right? We have offices. Here's our headquarters in Scottsdale. Crazy looking office. It's huge. We have offices in multiple states. I don't have their pictures right here, but they're very nice as well. We have lock-ins. We rent out mansions. This is our mansion that we're renting next month for the 1,000-person event in Scottsdale, Arizona. We rent out really cool houses. I'm doing one once a month with my team. Okay, if you're a new agent, you're going to be coming to nice houses and you can record social media stuff here. We have events. This is our annual convention. People holding up signs, people going crazy, people getting training from the top people in the industry, like Sean Mike's a billionaire, right? People getting around the top people. Therefore, they get inspiration on how to build their business. This is how you can get involved, okay? The reason why most everybody is coming into life insurance is most people don't know life insurance used to be fully underwritten. You don't know what this means, but let me explain this for you. Fully underwritten, it takes like 3 to 4 weeks to get paid. They take forever. They collect samples. Like you literally have to do like mouth swabs on people. You have to collect like bags of urine. It's disgusting, right? People nowadays can submit a deal from anywhere, and it's called simplified issue, meaning simplified issue, you submit an application and you can get paid in 24 to 48 hours. That is your sale. You don't have to do anything else. There's no fulfillment to it, and there's not a long waiting period. In the last few years, it is now simplified with zero fulfillment. You're the middleman, and leads have improved drastically. The lead quality has gone up over time. All right. Most people don't know with social media, lead quality has gone up. People know how to run ads nowadays. There are agencies that help you run ads, and you can pay them, and they're experts in it. And they've been running forever. Okay. They've been running for a while. Like our ad guy has collected data over the past 3 years, and that helps us target clients that actually make money so that we can get a higher average annual premium on the sale. Most people don't know, like if you start your own, you try to make your own leads, or you try to buy leads from a vendor, it's going to be higher price, and it's going to take a learning period for Facebook to understand what your ad campaign is actually doing. You don't really need to understand that now, but you need to understand that the lead quality is up. Okay, call reviews. I'm going to edit that out. I'm going to edit the call reviews in here, make sure you guys understand like what the call reviews actually are. This is how you build a business, is you make sure you're listening to the top producers and copying word for word what they're doing. If you have any questions, my number's down below. And if you need any information, that will be in the description as well.